One of the most exciting moments of the Assembly is coming up, where democracy leaders will be asking questions to young people to hear their priorities and plans regarding the future for democracy and also multilateralism.
And with this, I have a pleasure to introduce the Ambassador of France to UNESCO, Mrs. Véronique Roger-Lacan, who has a question to our COD youth leads and EDYN ambassadors.
Good morning. My name is Véronique Roger-Lacan. I'm the French ambassador to the United Nations Education, Science and Culture Organization, headquartered in Paris. I am very happy to be with you today for the Youth Assembly for the Summit for Democracy, a timely initiative organized by the Community of Democracies in parallel with the Summit for Democracy organized by President Biden. I have interacted a lot with the Community of Democracies, which is an organization that I admire a lot because democracy is not only an ideal, but the reality that we want to achieve for everyone in the world based on the United Nations Charter ideal and on the UNESCO Constitutive Act objective of democracy, meaning that universal individual human rights are a given, should be a given for everyone, whoever, wherever in the planet, meaning that whoever, wherever in the planet is entitled individual freedoms, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of media, freedom of expression, freedom of sexual orientation, equality between men and women, all those types, and those are only a few that I'm naming, that you young leaders are fighting for in your respective communities, in your respective countries. I admire you all for what you do. I hope that I can be available for any of you when you need it. This is what I pledged today with you, with the Community of Democracies. And I am also asking this question: how do we, as democracy leaders in government, help you shape the democratic future of your generation?
I will start from a little bit further away answering this question, and we'll go back to 2014 or 2015 rather, when I was still a sophomore at college, at university. And I attended the meeting with the Deputy Secretary General of NATO, Mr. Alexander Vershbro, who was visiting Georgia and was meeting with young people. I was very inspired by his speech and wanted to ask a question and make a comment, but was a bit late in raising my hand. First, I didn't dare, and then when I raised it, people didn't notice it. Because I'm blind and I didn't see when people were actually looking at me, the moderators and all of that. And this is one excuse for me to tell those with disabilities and generally speaking, those from different minority backgrounds, if you want to ask a question or be heard last, you should start raising your hand first. That time, it didn't work out, which I regretted very much. Generally speaking, I usually regret the things that I did not do instead of things that I did. But I decided to at least write all my reflections and my ideas in a blog or article. I got it published later in a small student organization, the Future Diplomats Club's blog. And also on my Facebook page profile, just because I was afraid that they might shut their server down for whatever reason, and I just put 10-pager on Facebook as a post, which was very shocking to many people. They were telling me that I should stop posting these political things because Facebook was only for entertainment purposes, and now we have seen and we see how many posts are being cited in the national news media outlets, at least in Georgia, and it has become, as they say, Facebook is academic, so who knows, maybe in near future they will start actually citing it in footnotes in scientific research. So anyways, things that I wrote there actually did happen later on. Ideas such as, and notions such as expansion of Russian influence over Eastern Europe beyond Georgia and Ukraine, and expansion of their ambitions, instabilities in Turkey, and some other things that are now discussed by leading global think tanks such as Center for European Policy Analysis. And what I wanted to say is that yes, from this my experience, we can see that young people can be experts on different issues and can have valid ideas and valid views that need to be just heard and need the platform for that. And this is what democratic leaders of today can do and are doing already by providing such platforms as today's one. I cannot remember and could not have ever imagined that I would speak today with you in the same space. I remember how my mother was reading to me some articles about your activities, about your work and life, and just wondering and being very inspired. And then years later, I was able to meet you in person in Berlin, attend your speech and ask a question in 2019 at the celebration of the fall of the Berlin Wall. The second thing is that young people often, unfortunately, do not have resources and money, especially those who have motivation and interest to engage in political change, to do so. Instead, those who are wealthy are always willing to influence politics, can fund their own campaigns, can fund their media outlets. This is what happens all around our region in Eastern and Central Europe. And then while getting elected, they start lobbying for their and their partners' business interests in the parliaments and national governments, in all other things, hindering the passage of laws that are meant to do positive action, promote inclusion, equal opportunity, and labor rights, and other such things. And this is what the leaders of today can also do by promoting young candidates, supporting young people to run for offices and in their political efforts.